Hello, and welcome to the Financial Wisdom with Milan. Basically, we bring down the common sense principle and the wisdom that should be applied towards your finances and retirement. And I certainly hope it makes a lot of sense and it helps you in some way. Since I have these fancy lights, I hope you like it. Hopefully you can see me a little bit better and you cannot miss my eyebrows. I know, right? They're creating a shadow, not a light, okay? But let's focus on the fun stuff, shall we? The reason I actually wanted to create this video is simply because I had a conversation with a prospective client who became a client. It was a referral. They came in the office. And from what I understand, because we were talking and I was asking the open-ended questions, basically he is not happy. He's still working in his 50s and not happy with where he is, even though he's making good money actually. He's miserable. So we start talking about, what would be necessary for him, what would need to happen, like what monumental change would need to occur for him to either quit or get another job. And then he reminded me like, hey Milan, you know how hard it is for 50-something in my position to actually, it was an executive in the larger company, to actually get a job like this? Not a chance. I said, okay, that's fair. I understand it and I totally agree. I mean, like I said, I'm going to be 16 next month, actually in a few weeks. But the reason I was just saying that is because imagine that now when I asked him, he was stumped. He didn't know what to say. When I asked him simply actually, but why are you there? So what was the reason actually? Well, it's good money. But yeah, but does the money make you happy dealing with all these people who literally have no respect for you? Well, he didn't know what to answer because he was thinking about that since that's how the conversation started rolling. So we'll get into it in more detail. So I told him, I says, when you were young, I said, when you started, we were talking, we continue. What was the reason that you went this route? Well, my dad was an executive. I went to his corner office and I enjoyed being there, and he had good friends and it sounded like he was in a good company. He finished college, I finished college, went to masters, blah, 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 all of that. He went a different route than most of my clients actually. And we started talking about it. I said, but when you started working, were you happy at the time? And he says that at first I was, because I was just out of college and in grad school. I mean, he was just, he was happy to be doing what he thought he loved. And of course, as the life got in the way, as they say, he got married, had the kids, all of those things actually beginning to kind of open the other doors that he didn't realize they were there all along. As it leads out, actually, you find out, I'll put a little caveat here, it wasn't just the job that he had, and some of the people in it that were working with him. And I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir. I'm sure you probably had experience in your life. I did. I know when I was young as well, when I started, when you had to get a job. It doesn't matter who you're working with. You just wanted to get a pay so you can pay your, what do you call rent, pay your food, and try to have a somewhat normal life. I understand that. But as the time actually got along, we started talking about, the benefits good. He says, yeah, the benefits are great. He says, even now, I mean, he's really, really enjoying it. But how long have you been? It's like almost like 25, 27 years, something like that, I think, if I remember correctly. And so that's a long time. I said, most people actually retire before. I know, he says, but I'm kind of chained. So what do you mean? Like, well, I mean is like, because of so many expenses that I have, and actually this income allow us to do and live the way we want to. And that's one of the reasons why I actually wanted to stay there and be there. I'm like, but can I ask you a personal question? Sure, we're here. He says, yeah, don't forget. I said, of course, it's confidential information, no names disclosed, but I mean, does your wife knows how miserable you are? And he kind of stopped and just looked at me and it was like, you know what? We never talked about it. I never told her actually. I'm like, jeez. So I don't care what job you have. Obviously that's so important because we're going to continue this conversation and I'll finish on a good note what he's going to do, and actually call me afterwards after speaking to his wife. And she's fully on board for him to literally disappear from this office and never come back there again. But that being said, if you have a partner in your life and you're not happy with something, it's the same as with anything in life. You got to talk to your partner about it, whether it's a husband, wife, whoever you're sharing your life with. Obviously, it's important to let him know how you feel about certain things, because bottling it up and keeping it to yourself is not going to help. We all know that. And if you don't, I'm telling you, it does not work. Okay? I tried when I was younger. It did not work. So now when I have an issue with Colleen, my wife, or if she has an issue with me or whatever, we talk. Yes, we do argue every now and then like a normal couple does, but the truth is, we get to talk, and that's the key. So I hear her side, she hears my side, and we come to happy big C, the big compromises that we figure something out. And that's what the relationship's about. I mean, one aspect of it, I guess. So if you tell me that you never fought in your relationship, please unsubscribe don't like my video. I didn't want to hear about you lying. What else are you lying about? Of course, people fight in a relationship. Okay? What? You don't? Really? Snap out of it. You lying. I know you are. Anyway, that being put out of the way, let me just put it this way. If that's the case, so you have a good communication, you have a great partner, you trust each other, well, think about this. Why do you love your job or vocation? Whatever you do, I don't care how you make coin again. It's your business, not mine. But how do you make coin? What do you do? How long have you been doing it? Are you happy? I know, even Freud, you gotta read Freud every now and then, he helps. But even Freud wrote about it, ultimately we do things to be happy, as they say, right? Doesn't matter what it is, but to be happy ultimately. So you can have a small pay, a large pay, big expenses, small expenses, doesn't really matter. But if you're happy, that's all that matters ultimately. And the person who's next to you, if you're in a partnership or relationship, if they're happy as well, you are luckier than 99% of the population, okay? So that being said, also, what is the reason you hate your job? Let's talk about that just for a second. Why you hate your job? Actually, I can do a whole freaking video about this because of a lot of little thing in it on the bottom here in a second, but just stay with me. We're focusing on here. Why do you love your job? Let's say that you were a kid, and I read about this actually years ago, where they said like, when you were in your age about, I don't know, about 10 to 12 to 13, whether it's a boy or girl, didn't matter. But what was the joy that you had in your day when you came back from school, for example, if you went to school and you had the family fortunate enough to have a food on the table and a roof to sleep over, what was actually that was making you happy? What was the little things that you used to do? Were you painting? Were you drawing? Were you making, what do you call, putting the computer parts and making computers? Were you programming? What was it that actually made you really happy at the time? Why do I ask that, you think? Well, it's a good sign maybe you should be doing that. Yeah, you have to go back in the past first, right? To see the future, right? So past is past, so future is future. But let's continue this way. So if you're fortunate enough, for example, that you're working with happy people who support you, love you, respect you, trust you, it's earned obviously, right? You are one lucky SOB, okay? I mean, I'm telling you, that's a good news, all right? If you're in a job also that keeps you busy, you know how the time just flies when you're busy, when you focus on the work, whatever that is. Again, I don't care, it's your thing. I love you for it. If you have a gig, you love doing it, man, as they say, God bless you, you're fortunate, you really are. But imagine you have all those things, like all the busy things that you do during the day, but at the end of the day, you come together. It's under your guidance, you completed the task, whatever that is. And maybe you completed it ahead of the time, and you're getting recognized for it. Yeah, I mean, that's a good life. That's a good thing, right? You have good people, you're doing your job, and you're getting recognized. You have a support. Hello, what is not to like, right? I mean, obviously. So if you're lucky, one of those folks, good for freaking you, all right? I'm telling you right now, if something changes, obviously, there could be numerous things like your health, maybe company downsizes, or somebody else get hired. Hey, let's focus on the bottom part just for a second now, because we know now what the good stuff looks like. So you're busy, you're fulfilled, time flies. But you know what? Let me tell you about the job that I used to have in Australia years ago, just so you understand. I used to be a scuba diving instructor back in 1990s, before I came here in the States in 1996. And I was actually also a videographer underwater, shooting a Great Barrier Reef scenery with the tourists diving and snorkeling. That was one of my gigs. So I had the whole business actually on the side. I was a videographer as well. So I used to work something like 4 or 5 days as an instructor, maybe film for 2 or 3, but I was on the water pretty much every day, 7 days a week. The secret is, what I didn't tell anybody at the time, and they knew probably, is that I would have done it even if they didn't pay me for it. Imagine scuba diving on a Great Barrier Reef every day. Food is provided for, my tanks are provided for, my BCD is provided for, I have a regulator, everything. All I have to do is just entertain people on the way out to the reef and on the way back. I can do it with my eyes closed. And I was getting paid as well. And I was single. Life was freaking great. I'm just saying, that was happiness. Even when they had the days off, I'm not gonna believe me when I say this, we used to come and dive with them anyway, with the dive boat that we used to go on. I used to help them anyway. So the crew would be like, you guys all right? Yeah, we just have a day off, we didn't know what to do, we wanna go scuba diving. But you're going back to work tomorrow. You're coming back on the same boat tomorrow. I know, but we want to go diving. Okay. So more the merrier. So of course, the more staff there, we made it easier for the staff that was that day there, so we can help them throughout the day. But we also go to free diving. So that's what I'm talking about. Something that gives you joy, something that makes you smile, something that actually keeps you in a happy place. If you're one of those, and you qualified in this section here. Mad respect to you. You're ahead of the bunch like by a freaking... You're like in another universe, okay? So that's a good thing. Good for you. I'm happy for you. If that's what you are, and that's what actually what things are, that is a really good news. I cannot stress it enough. Enjoy that. Enjoy every freaking day. Be busy, have a support, be recognized. Simple, right? So let's focus on the people who think they got it right by working the job they absolutely hate. Oh, let me put this one with here. With passion. Are you one of those? You hate your job with passion? I was there once, but never again. I can tell you that. So do you really hate the job that much with passion? How about this? This is my favorite. Oh, this one, I can talk about this all day. So you come to work, nothing is where it's supposed to be. People expect literally miracles for you to split the sea and walk on water, but you know as well as anybody, you cannot do everything. But not just that, you have people who actually in this section here, let me tell you, and that's a sea anchor right there. I'm underlining it, I'm running actually red ink, but if you're in that category, in a special category, I'm sure there's a few of you, and I'd love to hear your story in the comments. If you're watching, please, I would love to hear your story. I hate people I work with. You know how many times I heard that? I can write a freaking book about it. I can be like a shrink up and shrink. I can actually... Anyway, you know what I'm getting at, because I hear so many stories of this. So listen, you come to work, and the person that's across to you or next to you, you literally cannot stand them. Either they smell bad, they dress or underdressed for that reason, for whatever reason, and they just have like a no manners, and they don't do no work, and they're getting paid more than you. Ooh, did I just say that? Oof. Ooh, that gives me the heebie-jeebies. I know, right? Imagine that. You're coming to work that you were supposed to enjoy when you started years ago, but now you maybe downsize, upsize, I don't know, you moved to another city, or you've been, upgraded to the C-suite, but all the people around you are complete, and you can't stand any of them. But there you are, you're getting a paycheck. Yeah, happy for you. You go, girl. Okay, that's all I'm saying. That's fine. But think about this. So you have people who don't trust you, don't like you, and probably never will. Maybe they never told you. Maybe they did. You didn't pay attention. Maybe you heard the famous Maya Angelou saying. Maya Angelou, love her. She was amazing. A poet and a writer. She said, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them the first time. When somebody showed you who they are, believe them the first time. What that means basically, if they show that, assholes, believe me, they are, okay? So why would you want to spend time with them? Why would you want to spend time in a company or in the office like that? Does that make any sense to you? Snap out of it, okay? It ain't gonna get better, okay? It's not gonna get better. That's a fact, all right? So, what do? Well, SOL as they guess, right? Either you find something like this while you're doing this, because this will encourage you and maybe excite you to leave this and leave this position, leave this job where you are, because it will affect your finances in every way, your psyche in every way. It doesn't matter how much you make, it's irrelevant. It really isn't. If you're not happy, why the hell would you want to stay where you are? And I have something special for the younger folks in the next portion I'm going to mention. Well, let's say you're somebody younger. Maybe you're single or you're married. That doesn't really matter, but especially if you're single. Doesn't matter if you're a man or woman. It doesn't really matter. And the reason for that is simple. So let's say you're in the 20s, even 30s. I don't care. I'm not judging 40s. I don't care. I don't care. It's your business, not mine, okay? So I'm just saying it to be full disclosure, as they say. All right? What I'm saying is this. Do you own a passport? I'm sorry? You don't? You live in the States? You don't own a passport? Really? Snap out of it. The first thing you should do before giving the boss a finger, the middle one of course, is get a ticket to the place that you always wanted to go to. Well, you have no kids, maybe no relationship, or maybe you're not in a relationship, but even if you are, even better, bring the partner along with you. Makes sense. Buy the ticket first, because that will encourage you to get a passport if you don't have one. That's what I'm saying. So never actually get a passport first, then a ticket, because you'll never work that way. Always tell people, buy the ticket to where you're going first, okay? I know, some of them will ask for the passport right away, some of them don't. You might have to show the ID when you get to the airport, obviously. But these days, obviously, they're asking for the passport sometime when you purchase the tickets. So buy a domestic flight if you want, I don't care. But I'm just saying, book somewhere to go where you can actually... I'm one with universe. I'm the chosen one. I'm the one. You know what I'm saying? That type of stuff. But if you want to do that, don't forget to give the people there the middle finger on the way out. You don't have to come back. The best part, particularly if you're younger folks, if you save a little bit of money and your piggy bank doesn't look like this, this is just, I have a couple different ones I'll show you. I just got them recently, so just to use it for the channel, obviously. But if your piggy bank looks like this, obviously you should start filling it, because being empty, it's being empty, okay? So I cannot stress it enough. So make sure you fill out one of those piggy banks. But if you have a little bit saved in your piggy bank or in your savings and investments, please, for the love of God and little baby Jesus, whatever you want to call it, for the love of the universe, take the money out. I don't care if it's all of it, to tell you the truth, I really don't. You being there and being miserable is not helping anybody. It doesn't help your finances, it doesn't help your investments, it doesn't help your retirement. You have to think about your money and your finances like a business. You are ink, you ink. There's that famous line, what is the movie called? The Holidays with the, I forgot the name of the actress. Oh, Eli Wallach, I'm sorry, actor. Eli Wallach, he's telling the Kate Winslet, is it Kate Winslet? I'm trying to remember. You know, why are you acting like you're like a second or third actress in your own movie? Be the leading lady, be the leading actor in your own movie. I love that line. I don't know who wrote it. If you do, please let me know. But he tells her basically, stop acting like you're a supporting actor or actress. Be the leading actor or actress in your own film. Should be, right? It makes perfect sense. You want to be in charge? Be in freaking charge, okay? So by doing that and taking maybe even a sabbatical, that's what I wanted to segue into, so everybody understands. Basically, take a 3 months off, 6 months off, take a freaking year off. Figure out, travel the world. You know what? With the 3 grand or 4 grand right now, you can go to Asia just about anywhere. Vietnam, Thailand, Philippines, and you can spend a good amount of time there, literally going from country to country, just to see what actually genuine people life is like, and what people live with literally just a couple of bucks a day, even if that. Yeah, how hard they work to survive. Then you're never gonna bitch about anything in your life, I promise you. Go travel and see how people live in other places. You'll get a hint, okay? You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. The reason is because travel is never kind of taught in our schools, and I don't know why that is, or common sense is never taught in our school. Roy Rogers said it famously when he says, there's a lot of common sense available in America. Nobody's quite used it yet. Nobody's quite used it yet. I love the freaking line, it's so true. Use a common sense. Not happy? Hit the road, Jack. Simple as that. Why not? What do you have to lose? They don't like you, they don't trust you, you have a shitty job, pardon my French. You know, you're miserable, literally. You don't go postal on them, as I'm saying, obviously, but I'm just saying, bye, Felicia, and pack your stuff and leave, okay? That's all I'm saying. And once you do, I'm telling you, remember, if you're in a cubicle or somewhere working where you're not happy, how do you think the opportunity is going to find you? That's a good luck, as we discussed this before. Good luck is not something that just happened because you're buying a Powerball or Mega Million tickets. Opportunity is when you meet the right people who like you from the beginning, who trust you soon after because you earned their trust, who respect you because they see that you're a man or a woman of integrity, or character. That will help you alone start filling this out very, very quickly, okay? Because once they see you, or real you, as we say, makes life a lot easier, doesn't it? Because you know exactly what you want to do. Well, maybe after 3 months, 6 months away, or a year away, you will know exactly what you want to do. So how do you do that? By making the decision to leave. And once you do, act upon it. So the thing that comes to mind, so if you, for example, still here, right? You're probably going to hear something like this in your head continually. Yeah, it's annoying, I know, right? Exactly, that's why I got it. Or you can hear something like this once you are here, or if you're lucky enough, maybe even find somebody actually that you know, a family, friend, distant relative, I don't care who, a neighbor, maybe he's doing a great job or something, find out why. But you're going to hear something like this. And right next to you're going to hear this. I'm sorry, I'm just a capitalist at heart, but yeah, that's a good sign, right? So that's what we want to do. Because guess what? Once you leave them, all you're going to hear once you left, this is what's going to happen. I have to press it again, otherwise it will keep going. So you'll hear just the crickets. Don't worry about them, because they don't worry about you. Obviously makes sense. And because at that point, guess what? Because you're doing it right,
that was easy.
You're gonna tell yourself one day exactly that. So let's focus on actual things that we know that we can do, we should do, And literally, let me do this. Yeah, it feels better, doesn't it? Oh yeah. Thank you again. And again, if you enjoyed the video, subscribe, unsubscribe, again, don't care. If you like it or don't like it, again, don't care. But if you do, let me know in the comments. And I wanted to say thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace and love you.